What's up, Ironbirds fans? Michael Marcantonini back here for episode 3 of All Mic'd Up. I've got Ironbirds right-hander Carter Baumler joining me. Carter, really appreciate you taking the time. You're all mic'd up. You ready for this?
Yes, let's do it. I'm ready.
But let's start out by talking about your hometown and your home city in Iowa and what life is like there.
Yeah, so I'm from Urbandale, Iowa, born and raised. Growing up, we were, pretty outdoorsy family. Kind of grew up like half on the farm, half off the farm. All my family's from up in northeast Iowa. A lot of Iowa roots. We're just, I'd say, a pretty traditional, Midwestern Iowa family. I love to get outside. I love to spend a lot of time with my brothers and my family in the off season. Make sure I get to do plenty of that. So, yeah.
And I know both of your parents grew up on a farm, so what was that farm kid mentality like for you growing up?
Yeah, I think, they kind of instilled that mentality a little bit on me. My dad, obviously growing up a farm, my mom growing up on a farm, and have been high school sweethearts. They just kind of have that, grinder mentality, waking up, they were doing chores, and obviously, they were doing a lot more, on farm, stuff like that versus me. I kind of, compared to them, had it a lot easier. But yeah, nonetheless, they were, some pretty hard-nosed parents. So
You're from Iowa. I have to ask, have you been to the Field of Dreams site?
I have not. No, I haven't. I do really need to go though. I've been close to it, probably within like 15, 20 minutes, but I've never actually stopped by.
When people find out you're from Iowa, how often do people ask you that question?
Yeah, I get it from time to time, especially in the baseball world. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about playing high school football. I know you're a big football guy. What was that experience like to play another sport and get away from baseball?
I love football. I had a really good high school football coach, and we had a really good team. We won 7 straight state titles, and just the core values that we had amongst that team, and just the camaraderie and the type of teammates we had. We had a lot of really good dudes, and then it just started with the coaching staff that we had there. Really good people who cared. We did much more than just stuff on the field. We did a lot of book reads. We did a lot of service stuff, and then obviously I went to a Catholic school or a Catholic private school. So we also had the religious side too, which was the biggest part.
You were drafted by the Orioles in 2020, the pandemic shortened season, the pandemic shortened draft. But because of the pandemic and then some long injuries, you had only thrown 11 games before this season, and now this year you're back healthy. You look great on the mound. But what did those injuries and the grind of going through the rehab process? How did that affect you mentally?
Mentally was a challenge at first, and I'd say it's something that's molded me into the person I am today. But nonetheless, we're back healthy. I feel like I can put that stuff in the past and moving on to a lot bigger and better things and getting out of that situation. So it's good to be here, playing and that being in the past. But it's definitely shaped me and given me a different outlook on baseball and appreciation for it.
I know you told me that not only did it affect you personally, of course, but it affected your family because they weren't able to see you pitch and to see you doing what you love. So how did the support from your family help you get through the long injuries and being able to get back on the mound?
Yeah, I think it definitely built our relationship, even more going through struggles like that. I had to, look to my parents a lot more, and I felt like after I was drafted, I wouldn't call my dad, and just, check in and, tell him how I'm feeling and stuff like that. And now it's like, just this morning I was talking to my dad on the phone, for, an hour and just, we check in, and my mom too, like, and even my little brother, like, I missed out, on these last 3 years of being able to play and, kind of, have him watch me and he's playing. So, I want to be that big brother. I want to be that big, role model for him. But it's definitely built a better relationship with my parents, which has been awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And, it's great perspective. So how have the Orioles helped you lock in mentally, not only when you're out on the mound pitching, but, in between outings or in the dugout, in between innings, things like that?
Yeah, like even in the dugout, we like to have a lot of really good conversations about, I'm always trying to ask questions and, just trying to get better. And we have a new really good mental strength coach, Diamond. He's the man, and very serious, and we can have conversations about getting better on the mental side when it comes to pitching, and then also too working with the pitching coaches and training staff, and always trying to get better.
I know the Arizona Fall League experience this past fall was huge for you to just get some more innings under your belt. How much did that help you leading into the 2024 season?
Yeah, I'm super grateful I went. It was a really good situation for me to go. Even though I went, I only was able to throw for the first 3 weeks. Nonetheless, it still went, well when I was throwing. And I also, going out there, I learned a ton, meeting a ton of other players. Just being in that situation helped me a lot. And I'm super, super grateful for it.
I really love talking to you guys about nutrition and diet and workout and exercise plans. And I know that you changed your diet a little bit going into this season. So what's different with your daily routine eating wise? What did you take out? What did you add to the daily diet?
Yeah, so I mean, basically the center of my diet revolves around just eating a lot of meat and a lot of like ruminant animal meat, beef, lamb, bison, that kind of thing. And that's kind of the base of it. I try to eat like 2 to 2.5 pounds of it a day. And it's 100% helped with, being able to build muscle, being able to recover better, anti-inflammatory, it's the number one anti-inflammatory you can eat. So getting as much of that as possible, and then just, taking out all the crap, all the bad seed oils and, just processed foods, and just eating a more natural diet that humans were supposed to eat. And it's helped a ton with, recovery, my sleep, my mood. It's just, relationships. It's also too like something, I can bond over with other teammates. Everybody's always trying to get better. And I think diet plays a huge part in that. And it's kind of the base, of when it comes to just being the best version of you. You know what I mean? You are what you eat, and there's no lie about that. So.
Yeah, I love that insight there. So what's an average day of eating, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and what times do you eat at?
Yeah, so I wake up. First thing I normally eat every day, and this is pretty standard, is normally about 8 eggs. And then I'll usually do like a glass of raw milk, and then maybe if I do decide to have some carbs throughout the day, I'll do maybe a couple bananas after that. And then lunch every day is a pound of ground beef, maybe with some honey or maple syrup drizzled over top and some salt. And then normally I like to try and get in like another like smaller snack before the game. Depends on what we have in the dugout. Maybe it's just like some more beef from like a Philly cheesesteak, but I don't eat the bread. I just try to eat the meat. And then when I go home, either it's some more ground beef, another pound of it, or it's 2 steaks. So I try to hit that 2 to 2.5 pound mark a day of meat, and then normally like 3 glasses of raw milk a day. I love milk, so that's a good one, and then maybe a couple more eggs.
So you're definitely hitting the protein goals every day. That's what I'm getting at.
The protein goals are good, yeah.
All right, so Creed told me that you're the best golfer on the team. I asked him who's the best. He said you. How long have you been playing, and what's your handicap these days?
Yeah, so I started in 2020, April 2022, and right now I'm like a 3.5 handicap. I fell in love with it. It was super fun. I mean, obviously I was rehabbing, so I needed something to do, and I don't just want to sit in the house all day, and I don't play video games, so I was like, okay, this is going to be a good decision for me. So I bought into it. I go out, once or twice a week, and even on Monday or off days here, I try and get out. But it's something, I love golf, and I've gotten pretty decent at it, even though I'm still not great, and we'll still have some bad rounds, but I've also been able to put together quite a few good rounds too. So I wouldn't say I'm not on the best on the Orioles organization yet, but I'm trying to get there.
All right, I like it. So let's finish up this episode of All Mic'd Up with a rapid fire round. What's your favorite workout in the gym? I'm talking muscle group and specific lift within it.
Probably bench press. Bench press is probably my favorite. I think it's been a really good one for me. Just I feel like I've kind of had like a weaker chest over the years, and actually haven't done a lot of bench press in the past like 4 or 5 years. So it's been a really good one for me.
What's the latest you've ever slept in on an off day?
I think 10.
Okay, so you're up early.
Yeah, 10. I mean, it was actually, I think maybe yesterday. I didn't fall asleep till or 2 days ago. I didn't fall asleep till 2 after my outing, so that was kind of hard. I tried to get those 8 hours.
All right. If you could have a wild animal as a pet, what would you pick?
Wild animal as a pet, probably a baby deer. I've actually sort of had a baby deer as a pet for 2 days. We got stuck in our fence one time and we had to take care of it. And I think its mom got ran over by a car, so we took care of it for a little bit, and then the DNR picked it up a couple days later. But those things are pretty cool.
The things I find out on All Mic'd Up. All right. Would you rather spend a weekend at the beach, the lake, or the mountains?
The mountains. Yeah, I love the mountains. Big skier. If I'm, when I wasn't playing baseball, I love to ski.
All right. One more for you. Which sports stadium do you most want to visit that you haven't been to? Any sport.
Any sport. Man, I'd say that one, the Tokyo Dome. I think the Tokyo Dome. I think the Tokyo Dome would be really cool. And then, obviously, I want to play in Camden. So that's probably number one.
That's a great answer. Well, he's Ironbird's right-handed pitcher, Carter Baumler. I'm Michael Marcantonini. Carter, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
I Am Human is a new kind of unisex clothing brand with a bold mission to combat the stigma surrounding mental health while offering support to those struggling with it. Founded by Samantha Eula, a Philadelphia-based fashion designer, the brand is inspired by her personal journey with mental health. Centered around embracing humanity in its entirety, from struggles to triumph, and promoting diversity and inclusivity, the I Am Human brand reminds everyone, no matter your age, gender, race, or sexual identity, we are all human. If you're looking for a rental contract or want to have your property managed, then contact TCA Property Management, Inc. Whether you need to rent it or need it rented, owner Don Curry and his dedicated staff offer 24/7 service. Contact Don and the TCA Property Management team today at 410-273-9585 or email office@tcaprop.com. That's 410-273-9585, and you can visit www.tcaproperty.com for more information. What's up, Ironbirds fans? Welcome back to another episode of All Mic'd Up. I've got Ironbirds outfielder Matthew Etzel joining me. Matthew, you're all mic'd up. You ready for this, man?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it. So with all these all mic'd up interviews, I really want to get to know you guys as people and not just as baseball players and athletes. So I'm going to take you back all the way to your childhood. How did you start playing baseball, and who taught you the game?
I started playing when I was 4 years old, and it was my parents and my older brother putting me into baseball. Started out with T-ball. I actually think I batted righty for a couple of years, and my brother switched me back to lefty. But yeah, that's how it all got started.
Do you remember how you ended up going back to hitting lefty, or why your brother wanted you to switch around?
David Ortiz was a left-handed hitter, and that was our favorite player. So ended up modeling our swings after him a little bit.
Okay. All right, so you modeled the swing after David Ortiz growing up a little bit. Do you have a player comparison for yourself right now, either a current MLB player or maybe one you saw growing up?
There wasn't anybody I really tried to model my swing after, but the closest I would say would be like Charlie Blackmon or someone like that.
Yeah, that's funny that you bring Charlie Blackmon up, because I was gonna ask you about the beard. So first off, how long have you been growing it?
I actually shaved it at the end of the 2 weeks that we had over at Twin Lakes last year, but it's been growing out for probably about half a year now.
All right, so everybody asks you guys about player comparisons. You know, who's your comp? Who's your comp? Who's your beard comp? Would you go with Charlie Blackmon, or you got somebody else in mind?
Blackmon's is pretty good. Definitely trying to get it there.
Well, I mean, you being a left-handed hitter, outfielder for the most part, Blackmon came to mind first. I was thinking, Joe. You ever seen Joey Votto with a beard?
I have not, actually.
Look that one up, because I mean there's some similarities there, but you're doing some good stuff with the beard. So I know that you didn't just play baseball growing up. I know you're a big basketball player as well. So what type of player were you in basketball? You a shooter, facilitator, big man?
I was definitely a guy driving it to the paint. I wasn't the most accurate outside the three-point line, but I had a good mid-range, and I could meet people at the rim.
Okay. All right. How far did you take basketball? High school ball?
I played it my first year of high school, and then after that I ended up stopping because it actually overlapped the baseball season, and I didn't want to miss any baseball games.
Right. What other sports did you play? Just those two or anything else?
Also played football, and I did track as well.
Okay. How far did you take those?
I did both of those throughout my whole high school, all 4 years. I was actually also the punter for football, but I mainly played wide receiver, and Probably the most fun I've had in sports.
Okay, so you're doing a little bit of everything on the gridiron. I like that. All right, well, it's no secret that a lot of you guys have come into this season this year in what a lot of people would say is the best shape of your life. And notice from the start this year when we had that first conversation around the batting cage during BP on opening night that you clearly bulked up a little bit. So what did you do to put on that weight?
So I went to this place called DST, Dynamic Sports Training, back at home. Hit the gym pretty much 4 days a week. We ran to start our lifts, and they were about 2 hours long. And they were not the most fun lifts, but they definitely got me strong. And I'm ready to get after it next year.
All right, so you're lifting for 2 hours a day, 4 days a week. What was the weight training split like for you in terms of muscle groups?
So we do upper body, lower body, rest day, upper body, lower body. And most of the time, whatever weight we finished on with our last set, the next week we did that, whatever movement we were doing, we would start with that weight we finished at.
Okay. All right. So yeah, progressive overload, trying to keep getting the reps up. What did you do diet-wise and nutrition-wise? I mean, where do you eat in to bulk up a little bit as well?
A lot of calories, obviously. I always hit up an all-you-can-eat sushi place after my lift sometimes. With Levi, I actually worked out with Levi Wells as well. He's from my area, and so he went to DST as well. A lot of grilled food. Tried to stay away from the fried food, but if I needed the calories, I would eat it. But yeah, just a lot of protein.
What are some of your favorite meals to eat? Well, not even just necessarily bulking.
Chicken Alfredo. It's one of the best ones, and a good steak. It's always my favorite.
So, your career, you've been to a few different places. High school, obviously, putting up some big numbers. Then you went to Panola Junior College, then Southern Miss, then you get drafted. What did those 2 years of JUCO ball do for you?
I mean, it changed the way I played the game. My coach, Todd Shelton, I give him a lot of credit. My first year going in there, I was kind of like a lost baseball player, just putting my 100% in, but wasn't getting the perfect results. And he helped me teach my swing and teach the game, and I went from being a 300 hitter to a 440 hitter the next year.
Yeah, big difference. So then after 2 years at Panola, you go to Southern Miss. You're one of the best junior college players in the country. You're making a lot of JUCO transfer lists. Why was Southern Miss the right spot for you?
I mean, it was perfect because their center fielder was leaving, and all 8 other guys on the field were supposed to stay. The atmosphere was just incredible. The town was nice. The team, I felt like I could really connect with them. And what else can you ask for?
And you did a lot of winning down there, too. So what was the experience of being able to win games and go deep into the postseason like?
I mean, it was so fun. You just go out there every game, and, whether you have a good game or a bad game, it just felt like you won every single game. I think we went on a 14 or 15 game win streak at one point during the season. And I give big credit to our hitters, but mainly our pitching staff was just incredible the whole season.
So I know that obviously you love playing baseball, but I know you love talking about the game too. So if you could sit down and talk baseball with any 3 major leaguers, either from current big leaguers, the area you grew up in, or just anywhere from the past, which 3 would you pick to talk the game with?
Ooh, this is a good one. So I grew up from Houston, so I grew up watching the Astros. And although he's not an Astro right now, I'd really like to talk to George Springer. He was a center fielder when I was in high school as a center fielder. So he was like a big role model for me, I guess you could say. Kyle Tucker as well. And number 1 on my list would probably be Mike Trout because he's just one of the best in the game.
Yeah, he's that dude. Might go down as the GOAT. You never know. All right, so what are some of your off-field hobbies and interests?
I like to play video games while I'm here. Feel like it really just relaxes me at night. And I have a couple friends from back home I play with every night, so staying connected with them has been huge. And sometimes I'll go out and we play golf every weekend. I just picked that up this off season and slowly getting better each day. But it's one hard game, I can tell you that.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap up this episode of All Mic'd Up, Matt, with a teammate question round. 5 questions. Just go with what pops into your mind. If you had to have one teammate cook all of your meals for a week, who would you pick to do it?
Ooh, Levi.
What does he cook?
I've heard he cooks a good ribeye, so that's all I need.
All right, I like it. I like it. Best nickname on the team?
Probably Preston Beef.
All right. Which teammate would do the best job as my color commentator for a game in the broadcast booth?
For some reason, I want to say Creed.
Yeah, I mean, Creed loves to talk. He's a great interview. I like that. Who's the loudest guy on bus rides?
Probably Jalen. Talks a lot.
All right, last one for you, Matt. Favorite teammate to talk baseball with?
Probably Mac.
Okay. All right, I like it. All right, well, that'll do it for another episode of All Mic'd Up. He's Matthew Etzel. I'm Michael Marcantonini. Etz, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching All Mic'd Up. To watch past and future episodes and for more broadcast highlights, subscribe on YouTube and follow @Mic'dUpSports on X, Instagram, and TikTok.